What's going on YouTube? GeoSnow right here. Today I have some great news for those of you waiting for a jailbreak on iOS 15.2, 15.1, 15.0 and so on. So a brand new vulnerability has been already released, but also there are multiple that might get released because they are part of the new security content. So if you take a look here on my website, the iOS 15.3 is now signed. It's been released a couple of days ago and it contains a couple of security changes which are available over here. There is one in Color Sync, Crash Reporter, iCloud, but the most important ones are the one in the IOMobileFrameBuffer, yes, IOMobileFrameBuffer again, in the Spotlight, and the Kernel, which are both here. The Kernel one is by Peter Nguyen, and of course the MobileFrameBuffer one is by this person here, who has posted, quote, "My first 2022 CVE is iOS kernel arbitrary code execution in IOMobileFrameBuffer." And it actually seems that this vulnerability was already released over here, which of course is just a proof of concept, but still a very good place to start. Now we're gonna touch on whether these are good for Unc0ver or Taurine, but first iOS 15.3. iOS 15.3 is a bad idea for jailbreak purposes, especially with all these patches, and if you combine that with the patches on 15.2.1, which is basically just one over here, but still another patch, you get a pretty bad combo, so it would be a bad idea to update to 15.3 or 15.2.1 for the moment. Now 15.2 itself also isn't very good, it does patch a lot of vulnerabilities, however it seems that there is hope. 15.2 does have apparently a kernel vulnerability we could use, and then the IOMobileFrameBuffer vulnerability that was already released. Now the interesting thing about the IOMobileFrameBuffer vulnerability, it says in here, quote, "A malicious application may be able to execute arbitrary code with kernel privileges, and Apple is aware of a report that the issue may have been actively exploited." So usually what this means is that some threat actor, hacker, whatever over there has used this against people, against journalists, or against, I don't know, any other people who are in an official position and stuff like that. So it's not necessarily a new vulnerability, it's been known in certain private circles for a while. Now we got to take a look of it. It's this one here, it's just a proof of concept, not an exploit itself, but with this we can start creating an exploit, which, as the security content over here says, and the person who found the vulnerability says, this one is an iOS kernel arbitrary code execution, which of course is great for Unc0ver or Taurine, because that's exactly what this kind of jailbreaks are built on, this kind of exploits, which allow them to modify the kernel memory. So right now, if you're waiting for a jailbreak desperately and you want it very fast, the best thing you can do is to stay as low as possible. Now usually that's the best thing you can do in any situation with jailbreaking, but right now more than ever, because 15.3 patches these vulnerabilities, as you can see over here, and not only these, there are a couple of WebKit ones as well, in fact many of them, which could be useful, but we don't know for now. And 15.2.1 patches just one vulnerability, this one in HomeKit, which doesn't exactly look very useful. It's just a denial of service, basically making the HomeKit application crash or the whole device crash. I doubt this one can be used for jailbreak purposes, but still not a good idea to update to 15.2.1 either unless you do use HomeKit and this is a bug that actually affects you. So right now I would say stay below 15.2 if you can. 15.1.1, 15.1, 15.0.2, 15.0.1 and even 15.0 are all good. However, if you can stay on iOS 14.8 or lower, that's perfect. Stay there, do not update for the moment, because even with such vulnerabilities and even if a full exploit released, both Unc0ver and Taurine will have to figure out the rootfs being sealed and how to get around that, which is of course an iOS 15 issue only. So yeah, there's that. That's currently what's going on, a brand new vulnerability. The patch log shows multiple yet to come, so definitely be patient and subscribe to the channel for more information. If you want to support what I'm doing, there is a Patreon link in the cards up there or in the links below if you want to donate $1 to keep the channel running. Thank you for watching, I am GeoSnow, peace out.